Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. I am JD, aka He Who Pods. Glasses on today, so also aka Rearview Mirror.
And I'm Dash, aka Dashing D, aka the real king of R&B, aka cool grandma, but not really.
And this episode is sponsored by the color light gray. No, I'm just kidding.
Seriously. So
We somehow got the same color on.
we did. We're matching today. I don't know what happened.
Unplanned.
Very much so unplanned.
This guy on camera was like, "Oh, it's the same color I got on."
I thought the same thing.
Twinning.
We know you like to steal my looks, though.
Here we go. I was in the room first. I just want to make sure everybody knows that.
Pretty sure
I was ready. I was sitting here ready to record first.
I have had this shirt on since about 8 o'clock this morning.
Ew, you need to change your shirt. Just kidding. All right, let's get to it. We got shit to talk about today.
Yep.
So, Mariah the Scientist dropped a new album, and it came out on Friday. I've listened to it a bunch of times. It's 35 minutes, and it's got a weird licensing thing with the release. So it's under Buckles Laboratories. I don't know whose label that is, but that's an LLC. Under exclusive license to Epic Records, a division of Sony Music. So I guess Mariah is signed to a subsidiary to sign to someone, and then that company is signed to Epic. I don't really know much about that part. I just know about the music. Usually I come up in here and I'm like, I got some info. I have no info today. So I just have thoughts on the project. But it's 10 songs, 35 minutes, short and sweet. And it's called Hearts Sold Separately. So,
what do you think?
So I like it, and I want to start with a disclaimer. Mariah the Scientist is not Mariah Carey, nor is she Whitney Houston. And why do I say that? Because I'm seeing people and hearing people say, like, Mariah the Scientist ain't a real singer. And she is a singer, but there's different levels to singing. Now, when I put on Mariah the Scientist, I'm not expecting to hear Mariah Carey, nor am I expecting to hear Whitney Houston voice, right? I'm not expecting that type of vocal range when I put on Mariah the Scientist. So I just want to start there. I think for Mariah the Scientist, this was a good project, but I'm comparing it to other Mariah the Scientist projects, not to Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, and the greatest singers of all time, right?
Which is really how artists should be prepared. What am I saying? Which is really how artists should be compared. They should be compared amongst their own work, unless there is a competition, right? But when we're just having a conversation about, oh, is this a good project? Does this sound good? That should be the benchmark. Should be based on their, I guess, whatever you consider their greatest work. But not necessarily other artists. We can do that, but we don't have to do that all the time. So
yeah, I just feel like cats are saying like she can't sing and she's not a singer, but I don't think she said she was Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston or any of those greats. She's just doing her thing. At least I've never seen her say anything like that. So I don't know where people are getting those types of comparisons from.
I think that she has shared that some of her inspiration comes from Prince and Whitney Houston. So
okay, so maybe
people
that's
are
why.
making that connection. I also think that inspiration, when you take inspiration from other people, it doesn't necessarily mean their voice. Sometimes it means that, but not all the time. Sometimes it could just be their sound. What was the
their
production
songwriting,
like during that
many different
era?
components.
Because I think that there are elements in her music that very much point towards the Prince and the Whitney Houston era, but yeah, I think sometimes people get too in the weeds. It doesn't always have to be literal and on the note as so many people think it needs to be.
Yeah, so I just wanted to start there. It's 10 songs. I like all 10 songs. I don't think any of the songs are whack or need to be skipped. There are 2 songs I do wish they separated, which is United Nations plus 100 Ways to Die and All I Want plus In Pursuit. I'm not a fan when there's two songs on one track. That's just a personal thing. It doesn't mean it sucks.
Mhm.
I'm just not a big fan of it. Even when big artists like Rihanna have done it, I'm not a big fan of when people put two songs on one track. So I wish those were separated. But I will say,
Mhm.
100 Ways to Die into Internal Flame was a great transition.
It was.
So, yeah. So I've listened to this project probably 4 times now. I really like it. I really like that it pulls from different eras. You can hear like sounds that you would only hear in the 80s. And you can also hear some things that you would only hear right now, like the trap drums and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I really like that a lot of this to me kind of sounded like it was inspired by the 80s. It does sound like they pulled some 80s Prince, 80s Whitney Houston esque things sonically or sound wise.
I should have
And
went
that to me
first.
was too bad. That to me was pretty fly. Um, next time
Cause
go
I
first.
just gonna steal my review.
Well, I was already going to say that it came from the 80s. So once you added the Prince and Whitney Houston part, it makes even more sense. Um, and I was really nervous when I first saw the track list. Like when I first went to the project, not like a tweet or anything, but when I first went to the project and I saw Is It a Crime? I was like, please do not be redoing Sade. If this is trying to redo Sade, I'm not gonna like it. But it didn't. And I was very happy that they did not try to redo Sade. Because Is It a Crime by Sade is a classic.
Mhm.
So I was happy that they didn't do that.
It
Uh,
trends on TikTok.
oh yeah?
It's the strangest thing. I mean, not a bad thing, but it's because TikTok loves music like that. So yeah.
That's interesting. Um Yeah, so my favorite song is probably Eternal Flame. I also really like the song More. It's a different type of record than the rest of the project, and I thought it makes it stand out. And I just want to say last thing and then you can go. No More Entertainers was really funny to me.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a perfect way to end the project, but I'm like, but aren't you still with Young Thug? Like, aren't y'all still together? So I thought it was funny.
Sometimes it's complicated.
Clearly it is. Clearly it
Sometimes
is.
it's complicated, just the girls
Clearly it
be out
is.
there struggling.
And I'm not mad at it. But it was funny. To me, it was funny.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah, those are my thoughts. What about you?
I thought it was great. I did not listen to it 4 times, so I do not remember all the track names. I'm gonna be
Okay.
honest. But I thought it was great. I like that she's so inspired by the 80s. When I was listening to it, I was like, who made these beats?
Right.
Because, because whoever did, like, clearly loves the 80s. Very clearly. Even when it wasn't so much like heavily 80s inspired, it still felt like there was something there that was leaning towards that direction, which
Yep.
I really loved. I mean, it made me think of all the R&B music from the 80s that I love. Um, and if you can do that, if you can make me nostalgic, you've already won as far as I'm concerned. She
Yep.
sounds good. I agree with you. I don't think that she sounds like the people that were mentioned before. I don't want to keep saying their names, but I do understand like some of the music they made, you can hear some of that in this. Not directly, but like that same style, that same, again, the beats are very much playing in that world, which I love, and I think that's, I don't want to call it such a risk, but I feel like today the sound is very much like set. When you're an R&B singer, you're either singing like one way or another way. You often sound like, I don't know, like a Janae Aiko, or I could list a bunch of people. I won't go ahead. Like a Summer Walker. I feel like they have kind of similar sounds. And it's not to say she doesn't ever sound like that, but I think that because of the fact that we're kind of used to R&B singers playing in that same vocal range, it's nice when the beats kind of divert a little bit from what we're used to, and they're able to play around with it a little bit more. There are multiple ways to um, expand your talents and to be different. It doesn't always have to be a different voice. It doesn't always have to be like everybody has their own thing, and I love that this seems to be her thing. Um,
Yeah.
I don't
And I
have
agree.
any.
That was a great point. Oh, sorry. Just real quick, I would
No,
say
yeah,
it's a great point that you said it was a risk. I didn't even think about that.
yeah,
So great point.
because I think the kids know what they like, and they like what they like, and I think they're open. Don't get me wrong, but I also think that it sometimes, you know, you have you have whatever is happening now and what people like now, but then you also have like people like me who are a little bit older and love R&B, but also don't want things to get too crazy. Like if you're gonna give me R&B, I just want some good solid R&B. I don't need you to do a whole lot to get
Hmm.
there. Um, so I appreciated that. This felt very much also at the same time. It felt very much like roller coaster music mixed with
Okay. I see why you say that.
her, mixed with, I don't know. It was like a bunch of different things. But again, when you think about people like Prince and Whitney Houston, they gave us some roller coaster music back in the day. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, I have said this before, but for those who are new, whenever you watch a film or a TV show sometimes, but mostly films, whenever you're watching a film and they go to an amusement park or a carnival or something like that, and they get on the Ferris wheel or they get on the roller coaster, there's a very specific type of music that is played. It's not always the same genre. It's not always the same type of artist. Sometimes it's a Miley Cyrus song. Sometimes it's a Whitney Houston song. Sometimes it's a Drake song. But there is a specific type of music that they use for these sequences, and I always call it roller coaster music. So if you know what that is, if you understand, great. If you don't, please go look up any movie that has a roller coaster or Ferris wheel scene and you will hear exactly what I mean. But it's like a feel good. It's like there's sunshine, there's warmth, there's excitement. It gives you all of that in one song. And I felt a little bit of that listening to Mariah the Scientist. So I thought that was cool. I have not listened to previous albums, so I will not compare it. But what I will say is, you know, I will definitely be listening to this again. As I said, I thought this was really good, and yeah, I just feel like she made music that kind of made you feel like, oh, okay, this is nice. Like this is a vibe. This is you could roll the windows down and crank the music up. You could, like you said, no more entertainers. We can relatable content, which music should definitely be relatable sometimes. Not it doesn't have to be all the time, but it's nice when it is. So yeah, I thought this was great. I don't have any complaints. There was nothing that stuck out to me where I was like, I wish she would have done this differently, or oh, I wish she would have done something else. And I do agree with you. You can't if you get too deep into comparing artists and especially people they said they're inspired by, then you're always going to be on an uphill battle. It's never going to be exact, and it's never going to be the same, um,
Yeah.
sort of thing. So that's why it's
Yep.
inspired by.
Yeah. And I think you can hear it clearly. And for those who don't know what roller coaster music is, not only do we have that example, but Dash also put together a lovely playlist for us a while back
Oh
that I will put in
yeah,
the bottom here in the
yeah.
description to this video. So if you're watching this, just hit the drop down, and in the description will be a Spotify link to a playlist that Dash put together a while back of roller coaster music.
One of my favorite roller coaster songs. That was a good plug.
I
Thank you
try.
for that because I forgot. But one of my favorite roller coaster songs, and actually might be on um, that playlist is Mariah Carey, Always Be My Baby.
There you go.
Or Fantasy. Fantasy is always also one. But anyway, we can move on.
Well, in music still, a really weird announcement has come out, and it looks like by accident. Now, I'm not going to play the audio, but the same way you said Memphis Bleak is the homie, and he'd be too excited and saying stuff he's not supposed to say, it looked like that's exactly...
That's what Freeway did?
That's exactly what Freeway did, because even Jadakiss was like, oh, you about to tell him? You about to spill it right now? All right, fuck it, let's go with it.
Yeah.
Right.
I love how Jada
So there is,
just went with it. He was just like, yep, you right.
That's it.
Epic.
Right. Jada was like, all right, promo mode activated.
Right. Because really, Jada is a media man now.
Yep. Yes, he is. So, Freeway, I think accidentally or too excitedly told us that there is a joint project in the works with Jadakiss and Beanie Sigel called Kiss the Mac. And so maybe it will be executive produced by Freeway as well, because Freeway said that, and then Jadakiss was like, yeah, maybe, we'll see. So, I don't know, but I think this is crazy. I think it's fly. I think it's really exciting. They are great artists. And for those who don't know, they had a very crazy short battle many, many years ago. And so in the early 2000s, they had a battle that was short and supposedly about to be very street. And so it's lovely to see that not only have these two guys unified and, buried all of that, which we know, those of us who knew about it, we know they did that a long time ago, but so much so that not only are they hanging out, but now creating music together. And so I think this is awesome. I am very excited, and I cannot wait to see if this is true and what this sounds like.
Yeah. Same. I mean, Jada and Beanie Sigel, just sounds like a good match. It sounds like a good pair to get a collab project from. Absolutely. Just completely on board. I don't have any questions, no notes, just
give it to me.
Let's just do it. If Freeway executive produces it, that would be great too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally fine.
And if not, that's okay too.
That's okay too. As long as we get the project, I'm more excited that this actually sees the light of day. But this is really exciting. Like I said, Jadakiss is quite the media man these days. So I know he's a busy guy. So if he's able to squeeze in a little project with the homie, that's nice. And I know Beanie Sigel has been working to make sure that he's able to continue to make music, even though he's had the challenges that he's had. So really exciting to see him excited and us, getting to reap the benefits of that. So totally on board.
Yeah, same. Very excited. And I hope that this is not just excitement and hearsay. I hope that it really is coming and we really do get it. Even if it's not this year, next year, the year after, whenever. I'm on board. I'll be patient and wait for this one.
Yeah. Whenever they're ready. Whenever they're ready. Like I said, I know Jadakiss has a new show that he's been doing. I actually saw a video of that show today.
No comment.
It made me laugh. No, it made me laugh. I actually probably will post it to our stories because it was kind of funny.
Oh, okay.
They were interviewing well, I don't know if you call it an interview, but Tiana Taylor was there. It was so confused by a story that was being told. She is all of us watching that show. She was like, but what is the bottom line here? Like, that is me. Because anytime I watch, I'm like, huh? What are we saying?
I guess I know who was telling the story.
Yes.
I can guess.
His co-host even was like, at the very end, his co-host was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. How did they come to... Anyway, let's move.
Yes, let's move on. So speaking of how did we even get here, the Jussie Smollett Netflix doc has dropped. Not only has it dropped, but you watched it already. It just came out and you saw it already.
I said I wasn't
You were
going
not
to.
playing the other day. The other day you said you're probably gonna watch it, and you already watched it. When did this thing even come out?
Sometime last week.
Let me find a
Sometime
release
last week.
date while you.
It might have been. It might have been out when we reported on it. To be honest, or it might have been coming out like the next day or something like that. But yeah, I saw somebody talking about it, and I was like, let me turn this on because I had some extra time, and I literally had nothing else to do. Like,
Man, that shit came out Friday.
oh, I watched it yesterday. But when I say I
Yeah,
had
it came out
nothing
the
else to
22nd.
do,
It came out the 22nd.
I was on a train and there was nothing else for me to do. I did
All
not
right.
bring my laptop or anything like that. So I just all I had was my phone, and I said, "Well, what apps do I have on my phone that I could entertain myself for an hour and a half?" And
You was out of town thugging with your rounds.
yes. So
Cause that's a long train ride. Unless he was going from 207th Street in uptown to Rockaway Parkway on the A train.
I was indeed out of town thugging with my rounds. And
That was so New York. Everybody who's not from New York right now is like, what? What is he talking about?
well, maybe they wait, maybe they know because wasn't it Sexy Red who said that too?
No, I'm talking about the A train
Oh,
reference.
the A train.
20
Oh, you're right.
207 in Washington Heights to Rockaway
Oh
Parkway in
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Queens.
But yes, that's very local. No, people are not gonna
Yeah.
know that if they're not from New York.
No.
So I'm not gonna spoil because it came out on Friday. So that's not why I'm here.
Girl, come on, get to it.
No, 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 no,
Spoil
no,
it.
no, no,
Let's
no, no, no,
go.
no, 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 no,
Is
no.
there anything to spoil? It's a doc.
So this is what I will say. This is what I will say. It's interesting
Why?
because the makings of a good documentary is one where you're able to get POV from both sides of an argument
Okay.
or of a thing, right?
So did the Noose give an interview?
This is what you do when I
All
use
right,
my
I'm
lunch
sorry. I
break
couldn't
to
help
record. This is what you. This is what you do,
it. Come on,
sir.
I'm sorry. Oh man.
I'm sorry. I was trying to check the time, but I don't know what time is it.
1:45. We're good.
Okay, so it's you get the POV from the police department, and you
Okay.
get the POV from Jussie himself. And when I
Okay.
say the police department, I mean the chief of detectives who worked on this case and the superintendent who worked on this case are involved, are
Okay.
there being interviewed by Netflix producers. Now, I don't know why I watched this doc because I just feel like we shouldn't even be revisiting this. And basically, the people from the police department said that too. They were like, listen, this is the only time we're going to talk about this outside of the law. I'm going to let y'all watch it and deduce whatever it is y'all want to deduce from it. What I will say is, I wish this doc didn't exist.
Thank you. That's what
I
I said
think,
a couple of days ago.
I think whatever you think, you're gonna think, and I don't, I understand that they. I think this was also an image thing, right? There's a lot of people who did not believe Jussie, who do not believe Jussie, and he is there telling his side of the story. But again, it's really hard because it's kind of like when you're watching a trial publicly play out, right? Where there's going to be sides from, victims or witnesses that you're going to have to take into account. Then there's also going to be, lawyers who are saying this person didn't do this or this person did that. You're gonna have all of that, right? And then you have to kind of somewhere decipher the truth. That's really essentially what jurors do every day based on whatever the law is. My point in saying this is that it feels very much like that. It kind of comes across as he said, she said, and they're trying to tell us like what the evidence was or what their thought process was. And you can sit there and be like, 1 minute you can sit there and say, man, but you know what? That is strange. That doesn't make sense. For example, the noose, as you brought up. Since you brought it up, we could talk about the noose. There is video of him, which I believe existed before, but there is video, or maybe not. There's video of the body cam footage when the cops enter his apartment, and he has on the noose, and
Which is the first problem.
right, because they're like, well, because the superintendent is a black man,
Oh, okay.
which I think is important here. It's
Yeah.
probably not supposed to be when you think about the law, but it's important here because we have a different lived experience when it comes to a
Mhm.
noose. And he made that
Yeah.
point in the documentary. He said, listen, any black person that I know, I'm paraphrasing, any black person that I know, including myself,
Is not gonna walk home and still keep the noose on.
and still keep the noose on because there is such a stain and there is such a disgust, there's such an aberration that we would have to having someone put a noose on us that immediately we would want to rip it off of ourselves. Now,
Unless you was gaming the system.
but then they pan to Jussie, and Jussie's like, that's ridiculous. Why do they think that I wore the noose home? Of course I didn't wear the noose home. I put it back on so they could see.
I almost walked off. I don't even know what to do with myself right now. So you put it back on.
So they could see what, because basically what the superintendent says is on the, and you see it on the footage, they're like, what is that? He's like, oh, this is the news. They're like, you want to take that off? Because they were a little confused too. They were like, why you still got that on? And he was like, he's saying that he doesn't know, I guess he's trying to say that he doesn't think that the police would have believed him. So he put it back on so they could see exactly how it looks. They also show him saying that he doesn't want the body cameras to be on. So they do turn off the body cameras pretty early on. Now, I get it. He's a celebrity, so it seemed like there was a lot of issues with him trying to conceal people's identities. But I'm going to tell y'all one thing right now, and y'all could quote me on this later on in life. If ever something bad happens to me and they ask me for my phone and I got all y'all famous people's numbers and names in my phone, guess what I'm going to do? Hand it right over. Hand it right over. You know why? My personal well-being. Something bad happened to me. I'm giving them the phone. Now, we can talk about privacy concerns and things like that later. But if something completely heinous and completely awful happened to me, I don't know why I can't talk, and I got to talk to the law about it, I'm probably not going to try to hide things unless there is something to hide. But I'm probably not going to try to hide things. I don't understand the concern about other people's phone numbers. Like you were afraid they were going to take Lee Daniels' number and like shoot it out to the public or something. I didn't understand that. It just didn't make sense to me. You thought that Terrence Howard was going to get a phone call from his number one fan. I was so confused. I was like, but I don't get it. Like,
Oh
also,
man.
let's just say what I know Jay is thinking. Excuse me, JD. Let me say what I know he's thinking. Are you Beyonce? Hey, are you Jay-Z? Are you the president of the United States? Who are you? Like, who are you that you
Right.
think that is there classified information, top secret, homeland security level stuff on your phone that you like the first thing you thought of. Again, I'm not sitting here denying what he's saying happened to him. Let's be clear. That's not what I'm doing here. But what I am saying is if it was me and some stuff went down and I felt I needed to be protected, I get it. Like it was a weird time in 2019. I also understand as a Black person, we don't walk around feeling safe when police are around. I get that. I am not at all questioning those feelings. But what I am also saying is you thought people did this to you. You thought they targeted you because you were a celebrity. You thought they targeted you because you were Black. And then when they tried to work with you, when they said, "Shit, that happened to you. We need to get to the bottom of this because you are a celebrity, because you are a black celebrity, because this is going to look real crazy." And they say that. They were like this case when they set out to figure this out, they set out to figure it out because they felt it needed to happen quickly because of who he was. And
Okay.
they knew that it would explode
Okay.
if they didn't. They knew it was going to be everywhere. They knew they had to figure out who did this. They were actually, and we don't have this happen all the time, but they were actually trying to help you figure out what the hell happened to you. And you were talking about, one, you don't want body cameras on. You don't want a body camera on. That's probably the safest level of protection you had in the room was the body
Right.
camera, so that if something did go left with the police, everybody could see it.
Right.
That's one. And then you told them you didn't feel comfortable giving them your cell phone.
I guess my question is two questions. One, was there new information in this doc or not? Because it
I,
sounds like a lot of shit we already knew.
I think that it takes a deeper dive. I think that people probably don't know every meticulous detail, all the minutia that went along with decisions that were made and with the process that happened. They take you through their step-by-step process from the moment they got the 911 call until where we are today. So I think that it has value. I do think the documentary has value. if if you were, and just if you're interested in like true crime stuff, you're probably going to find this interesting anyway, because again, they're taking you through, they're showing you video, they play the 911 call, they all of that, they show you when they speak to his, I think it's his manager who made the 911 call, they show you all of that.
Okay.
And they discuss all of that. So I find that interesting. I typically find things like that interesting. um I think we know the general facts. I think we know the bullet points. I think if you are looking for a deeper dive into what happened, I think this is a good thing to watch. Again, it's coming from both perspectives. So that's to me what makes it important is
Okay.
that you're getting it from multiple sides. You're also hearing his assistant talk. She's very much involved in it and she's very much discussing what her experience was. They even addressed the fact that he performed, I think it was a few days later, a couple days later, he performed. They discussed that. Um, he says he was told by basically by his handlers that that's what he should do to show a face of strength or whatever. Listen, I say if you found it interesting back then, and if you're curious about like what these people's perspectives are and what the thought process was and how things went from one space to the next, because they didn't initially think that anything was shoddy. It doesn't start that way. Then I think it's a good thing to watch. I do.
Were you able to reach a final decision?
No,
All right. Okay.
but I'm
Those are my
also
two
an
questions.
overthinker. So
Got it. All right. Well, I know our time has run out, so I'll leave it there.
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Weeknights. Thank you for being here. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye.